All right, here I am, guys. Basically, what I'm here doing up here in Texas Hill Country, I am building a shed on this. This was already here, the concrete pad. You can see there was a greenhouse here before that I tore down. This is not my house, by the way. So there was a greenhouse here, existing garage wall. So I looked all over the place. This is going to be a 6x12 shed. And I looked all over the place for plans. There's plenty of plans for full, basically separate buildings. And there's other plans, of course, for people who just do sort of a carport with just a ledger board. But not a lot that do the shed, but only with the ledger board because it's already on an existing wall. Right? So what I'm building, and yes, it is a 2x4 ledger. I'm sure some people say, what are you doing? Well, look, it's not going to hold that much weight. But I found the studs from the inside of the wall, of the garage wall. Transferred the measurements out here. Yes, I have a window and electric put in already. Well, the window is here, but the electric so that people can plug stuff in. I just think it's nice. And then I use these 5-inch anchors, right? Ledger locks up there, obviously into the studs. And so yeah, I'm just running a 2x4. I know everyone will want a 2x6, but look at my clearance here. Look at my clearance. There's barely any clearance under this eave. And to even have a shed tall enough with at least a 212 pitch, I was going to go 312, but I think I'm just going to do it a little less. We don't get huge snow loads here, but we do get a little bit occasionally, and obviously rain, but we do have a gutter, of course. So really this is all going to be protected under this eave and soffit here. It's going to be very difficult. I don't know how I'm going to roof this. Maybe I'll do metal instead of shingles. It's just, I'm just going to build it all first and then decide how I'm going to roof it. I have all stuff in the way, which is fine. But yeah, the 12 will come to that line here, so I don't have a lot of room here. So, but yeah, simple 6x12. Hard to lay out the lines because, again, this concrete isn't perfectly level, so getting this to 8 feet and level was a little crazy. I've already cut 24 wall studs. Now I'm just working my bottom and top plates, about ready to put those together. And since I don't have a nail gun anymore, I bought this Ryobi, which I was putting some nails. I'll tell you what, guys, so far I haven't done a lot, but this was just a practice piece to get the depth right. This is just literally out of the box. I don't do as much building as I used to when I was younger, so I don't have a nail gun anymore. But this thing, I was very heavy. I'll tell you what, there's some reviews online about it. So, but for the price, and since, you know, we already have, I have mostly Ryobi stuff, and we have, you know, just have so many batteries laying around for Ryobi stuff. I figure this will be a lot cheaper. I don't want to spend, you know, $500 on a nail gun. I'm not gonna, probably won't be using that much, you know. Like I said, I'm not really a builder anymore, just projects here and there. But this thing seems to be working pretty good, guys, for the price. I got a 30-degree one shipped because they didn't have it in stock here. Of course, 30 degrees I like. I can get into more places with that, so that works out good. And honestly, even this just brushless, my regular ratchet drill got these 5-inch ledge locks in no problem. And I only used a 1/4-inch drill bit, not a 1/2 inch, so that got them in there. It's pretty level. It's almost perfect, but again, I mean, you can see the roof pitch is a little bit, or the building pitch is a little bit, but it was also the same with this old thing. You could tell by the measurement that's under the lock. But yeah, even a Ryobi saw. Again, this isn't mine, this just belongs here. So anyway, I just thought that'd be interesting. I'm gonna start building walls. I'm not obviously gonna film the whole thing like some people do, but we'll see how this goes. Got obviously 12-foot pressure treated for the bottom plate or sill plate, and I'm gonna use wedge anchors through the concrete in between every other stud, and then the corners, of course. So I'll use wedge anchors on that once I get the walls built and stood up, and I don't know, we'll see if it lines up. I mean, nothing really lines up here, so I'm hoping for the best. This isn't the worst thing I've ever built. I mean, I've built a million decks and houses and things, and I think we're just going to put in a 38-inch door here, and yeah, 38-inch door, and I don't know, we probably do a barn style door or something. We haven't really gotten that far. There's a lot of disagreement on what kind of door everyone wants, and I said I can just build a door. Well, we want a different door. Oh, we want this. We want this. So but that's what we're working with. So I think I'll come back later once I start building walls and maybe edit this video together into one whole thing. Sorry guys, Al got allergies out here. They keep saying the cedar's not really doing anything. Well, it's right here and it hurts my brain. I mean, let's see, is the dust still flying off it? Yeah, I'd say so. Gross. It's not good for me. I'm not used to allergies. Ever since I moved to Texas. Now I gotta deal with it. And I don't know, I didn't mean to show you all that. I'm actually just going in my toolbox. So anyway, it's a pretty day out. Week looks like it's gonna be pretty nice. I've already cleared all these trees from this driveway, that driveway, over there. That took me, there's another driveway over there, and then another driveway over there where the guest house is over there. So yeah, I had to do all this landscaping first. I had to cut back all these trees. They were way over. And then on this sort of service road over here was an absolute disaster. I had to clear all that out too. You can't really see it, but it's just right there. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. No one cares. That's okay. I do. So enjoy it. And see you on the next one. And we're back on the second day. Actually, not the second day. It's a month's put together, but since we're working on just this project, right? So, again, I got my ladder up there. What happened yesterday is I started putting together this wall, but I kind of did a practice wall because it's hard to measure off all this unlevel everything. I know some people say, no, it's very easy. Well, problem is I need this to be 8 feet at least, otherwise this thing is garbage. We're not going to be able to store stuff. But then we got the soffit and the eaves and the gutter to try to run our rafters down. So I figured I wanted it taller at the front door. I could do a side door, but they kind of want it in the front here. So I did nearly a 7-foot wall, which would have been probably about a 212 drop from there, from 8 foot, which is fine out here. But yeah, once I had that wall up, the rafter would have just literally hit the gutter, and I already have I'm already gonna have a real problem putting any roofing under here once I have this in. So that's another problem to be worked out. So I cut this down to basically, yeah, 6-foot studs from the top plate to the bottom plate. Or this is the bottom plate because pressure treat. Either way, whatever. Top plate, bottom plate. Taking into consideration that there will be a double top plate, of course. And so now I have to just cut down all these down to 6 feet, even though I already had pre-cut everything, but that's fine. That won't take me long. And then I'll start building more walls. See how much I can get done in a few hours, because we are going out of town for the weekend. Go look at some animals and stay in some kind of weird place north of Dallas. See how that goes. So that's what we're doing. And we got a doctor's appointment. And I haven't packed anything because all we've been doing is homework all week. Trying to finish everything before today. It's a real grind, you know? Anyway, I'm gonna work late. Well, hey guys. I'm back. I've skipped a couple days of filming. That's okay. I only work a couple days a week on this. And it's only so many hours. And since I'm doing it by myself, the shed I'm talking about, takes me a little longer because I got to get all the material myself, and then yeah, basically build myself. I think since last time, so I got in our 3.5-inch wedge anchors into the concrete with a hammer drill, so that thing's about solid. Got my hangers up 16 on center for the most part. I'm not lining up with these, obviously. Don't really need to. But all my walls are up. That's solid. And fairly square. Got those up. I'd have to figure I'll tell you what, I mean, that gap right there is going to be a heck of a time trying to get roofing under there, but I'm sure I can figure something out. Started with pre-cutting all my rafters. Bird's mouth them. These are a little shorter of a bird's mouth than usual because I decided not to even put on a double header. I don't think I really need it for this build. Plus it gives me a little more space and a little more slope. And again, I've built enough stuff that I just don't think a double header on this is necessary. I know everyone does it, but let's be honest, guys. All right, it's a 12x6 shed held down by massively strong wedge anchors and itself. And once we get roofing on and all these joists tied in and anchored, I will hang hurricane anchors on this side. I know some of them won't fit on a single header because it'll usually are meant for a double header, but I'll figure something out anyway, even if I don't just toenail them. And then yeah, I was saying, so this is a shorter bird's mouth than usual because it is a 2x4. Of course, you don't want to cut more than a third of the width out of a board like this. So I think I have about 1 1/4 inch maybe, and about a 3.5 to 4 inch run. And I pretty much just tested one first. And since what happened is the way I measured it, because hey, I'm just building this myself, not to spec and with no plans. It actually, I didn't have a 312, I didn't have a 212, I didn't have a 412. it ends up being almost an exact 3.5 12 pitch. So I set the saw, the chop saw. It ended up being about 15 degrees. Was perfect for the ends and the bird's mouth. Like I said, maybe 1.25 by 3.5, something like that. Well, no, it's about 1. Good. That's what I was trying for anyway. About 4 inches from there. But so yeah. So got pre-primed siding up right now. I don't know what that hit. Something in there. Screw or something. Putting up the siding. So this is one 8-foot piece. And then this here is a second piece where I just did a measurement, cut out the door. And again, I'm probably going to leave that sill plate in. Normally you'd cut it out for a door, but I'm building a sliding barn door, small sliding barn door on here because that's what they want. I think I'm going to leave that just for less water intrusion instead of putting in all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, big deal, you walk over it. They don't care. So yeah, I got to work this side out. I got to get that little edge off there. And then again, I pre-cut all my joists here. Stain cut them. One after the other. So try not to use the same template over and over because it gets a little messy, but for the most part I did. So yeah, you gotta basically 15 degree is on the chop saw, 15 degrees there. You know the math. And then basically, yeah, so I used my speed square at a 3.5 inch or 3.5 degrees, right between 3 and 4, which is hard to eyeball the edge, but I got it right at some point. Good enough for government work, anyway, as they say. Yeah, so I'm gonna use, I don't know how much more info anyone would need on this. I'm not going through the whole build because no one needs my ideas necessarily, although like I said, there are no plans necessarily for this exact kind of build where I'm building off a garage with a ledger instead of a back wall, and with all the weird angles I have. So this is something I had to just work out the math on my own, which wasn't necessarily easy at first, but I got enough drawings done and then I just started building, right? I think I might have said it, but my first front wall I put up, I was trying to keep it higher for headroom walking in because all of us are over 6 feet tall. That will be coming in here. I probably won't be coming in here much, but the person who's going to use it and the person who owns this house, all over 6 feet tall. But it's actually not that bad. I'm almost right at 6 feet. And you're coming off this, the grade is below. So kind of when you step in, I don't even hit my head, which is pretty nice. And we got the window, we got electrical in there already. And yeah, it's going to be about getting a roof under that right there. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's all I got today. It's Friday. Oh boy, February's almost over. Yeah, just gonna pick up the girl from school in a couple hours and I'll be happy. And the weekend will be ours. And maybe we'll do something. Man, I meant to film last week. I forgot my GoPro. I did film some stuff on my phone. We went to drove about almost 6 hours past Dallas to go to this ranch, this wildlife ranch, Oak Meadow Ranch, that my daughter actually saw on a YouTube video. She watches all these people. She said, Dad, can we go to this place? It's in Texas. I said, what is it? Where in Texas? Of course. You know what? And I get wild hairs, and I said, yep, let's leave Friday right away. It was a stress, but we had a really good time. That was fun. I wish I would have filmed it. So this weekend, maybe chill a little bit. Maybe I'll share those other videos on wherever I'm going to share this video. Who knows? Yes, I'm sweaty. I'm dirty. It's hot out. And that cloud went away. Oh. Anyway, that's about it. Respect. Have a good day. All right. Hey guys, or person. Here I am again at the shed. I don't even remember where I left off last time, to be honest. Since I only do this, 4 or 5 hours a day, Tuesday through Friday, working by myself. And again, if you watch the previous clips, well, I guess I'll edit this all together. Yeah, it's a little bit of a different build, I'm working under that very limited space here, so I had to really make up a lot without losing any height. I guess I could have done the back wall slightly lower than 8 feet, but I don't know, I said before, we're all kind of tall, and the person who's mostly going to be using this is tall, and having any pitch on the roof, I mean, this is still less than 6 feet, so I could easily bump my head on there, but a little duck is no big deal. So the roof is on now. The roof is all on. It's just corrugated metal sheets. It's the only thing I could fit under. You can see how tight that squeezes under the gutter, and then up against the wall there where I put the ledger. I couldn't even put sheathing under here. I couldn't even do purlins. And you know what, guys? It's a shed. Okay, I know there's a lot of videos out there. They build, by the time they're done with the video, everything's perfect, but everything isn't perfect, especially in framing. Framing's not supposed to be perfect. You know that when you're a framer. But you hit it the best you can, so when you put on all this other stuff, it comes out straight. But sometimes it's not possible. It's just not. But this is pretty much toward the end of it. I got the trim on here, which looks pretty good. Had to piece these together because I short one piece because I used this for the soffit here. It's all flashed with strip edge. Again, I basically used, obviously I just ran the metal roof right on the joists and screwed along the joists. And then in the middle, I put blocks in different spots so I could get some middle screws in. Kind of hard to reach everything. Is it perfect? No, it doesn't have to be. It's a shed. Anyway, there's a window to a garage right there. So this is pretty much it. Built this shelf. It's kind of where he wanted it. Normally, of course, I would have built all these shelves, but they don't want that. And just put a bunch of blocking in. Really, this is sure for strength. It doesn't hurt for strength, but really it's just to put stuff on, right? Which is what I kind of like, to be able to put stuff in places when you're in a shed. Put little things there. I covered the soffit there. It's just drying. A bunch of expandable foam back there. And obviously this expandable foam, I know it doesn't look pretty. But again, who cares? Remember, this is up against the wall with flashing above it, coming off of the wall and over quite a bit. But there's still gaps, of course. But again, we don't really care. It's not normally how I do everything, but it is what it is. So that's pretty much it. Everything's caulked up. All the nail heads are caulked. Soffit's all good. Super solid. Now I guess it's just on the painting, little finishing touches here and there, and making a door is going to be my next step. But I don't have the hardware yet, so I can't cut it today. I was hoping to get to it, but I think I'm about done for the day. So I'll get out of here at 1 o'clock. Yay. Oh, and I put all this gravel down. The last rain, just splashing mud everywhere, and this doesn't get a lot of sun here. So this gravel works out nice. This is 16 bags of high mountain gravel, or mountain gravel, and maybe not quite enough. I like to cover some more of this area, and then I'm gonna replace this whole cap here and just run it straight to the wall here. Just block this off for the dog and anyone else. That'll be part of it. Yeah, you can hear someone building the pool across the way. Not me. That's about it, guys. Oh, there's my tarp over there. Shoot. That's about it. Not much to show or see, but just showing the progress. Anyway, hope you all are doing well out there. I'm doing great. Just building. I'm building another building, but solo. Never actually built one solo before. Again, yeah, I know. There's a lot of videos out there. Everything's perfect, and by the time they're done, it's perfect and square and perfect. This is pretty square, but perfect by no means. But it is a shed, and I'll keep using that excuse as long as I can. That came out pretty good, I think. Anyway, peace. A light I'm gonna hang up here, and then I'm just making the door right now. So basically this is a 3/4 ply I painted before I put on the trim. Of course I matched that trim there. Just use the same stuff. It's a little pricey, but the texture's nice, and it kind of matches the sheathing a little bit too. So that's all done. The trim's all done. Everything's done. The rail is up. This is the rail I'm using. You can see there's a very low clearance. There's no clearance on the shed. Nothing on the shed has been normal or right, but I think I figured out a way to just make it work the best we can. Again, they wanted a slider. I said I could just make a simple barn door. They said we want a slider. I said it's not going to work. They said we'll make it work. So that's what I'm going to do. Actually, what I did is pre-ordered this from I forget the name of the company. You can find it. They actually have a store on Amazon, so I ended up getting it from Amazon, from that store. And then I pre-drilled holes that match up with the rafters here. So you can see the lines here. So I pre-drilled holes down and lined it up with, I used the whole 8 feet, even though I don't need it, but it'll be nice. Because for the overlap, may as well just use it. And then, so basically, this is filming. These are the same 5-inch framing anchors that I used on the ledger board, which are drilled directly into the studs. So 5 inches all the way up, and this thing's not going anywhere. And hello.
Wow, it looks fabulous.
This is the guy who's making me put in a rolling sliding door instead of a barn door. So blame it on him.
Guilty.
So,
very, very guilty.
Very guilty. And then obviously these are going in. This is a different angle. These are just 45s, obviously. You're not going to get away with 45s on these cross on the diagonals. So if you need to know, it's about a 46. You have to bend a degree. for it to fit in there. And then it'll look like that. Nice and beautiful. Right?
Beautiful.
Like it?
Gorgeous.
Construction glue and brad nails. That's all we're using here. And then we'll reinforce it on the back, maybe. Depends on how we're feeling today. It's Friday.
One never knows.
No one ever knows. It's Friday.
Enjoy.
In Texas.
Coming out beautiful.
So there you go. I'm back. I forget where I left off, but I'm just going to make a quick ending to this. Real quick. I finally finished the shed. Yes, it did take me longer than most people because, again, this thing was everything that a normal build that I've done in the past would be. But it looks pretty good. It's all finished. I already pointed all this out, I think, but I don't think I filmed when I didn't think they wanted a slider door so bad. I think I said that already. I didn't think there was any way I was going to fit it. I had such tiny bit of room, guys. I mean, there was no way. And somehow I managed to do it right. But here's another thing about this project that would not go normal if you were to do it yourself. And if you did it yourself, again, you kind of just have to work with what you got. Got some stops on here. Kind of have to work with what you got. So I built the door. As you can see, looks pretty good, right? Problem is, because of this clearance, the only way I could do this was flipping the actual mounts backwards. So the door's hung on the outside instead of up here on the inside of the bracket the way it should be. So I figured, because I was going to have this huge gap on top, if I did it normal, I mean, the door would stop right here, which wouldn't have made sense. So what I did is flipped it around backwards, hung it backwards, and then left this overhang on the top so that it covered, you know, the gap that would have been there, if you get what I'm saying. So again, was it exactly how you're supposed to do anything? Absolutely not. And that's just the way these things work. Sometimes you gotta just figure it out, work with what you got, guys. So, but what it did do, right, is because it's backwards now, I have this huge gap between this part of the door would have been, and I would have done a back part anyway, but not a whole 2x4 worth. So I filled this gap with a 2x4. Had to cut it around this stop here. I could have done a different stop on the side, but I like this better and it's fine. So I put 2x4s all the way around here to fill in that gap, which is plenty. All right, that turned out all right. And there's a stop, so I have quite an overhang here. I have, you know, a couple inches there, 2.5 inches on both sides, so it's okay. Nothing's gonna really get in here. Maybe some little creatures, but who cares? No one cares. And the problem is, right, the ugly side here is sticking out, which normally, you know, this would be the head of the bolt, and wouldn't look as ugly, but who cares, right? So I just tightened them up, dremeled them off, and then painted them in with the rest of this trim paint that I have on there. So again, maybe a client that you're paying a lot of money to might not love that, but this is, you know, my stepdad's house, and they're cool with it. So again, and then I put this little piece of plastic, and I couldn't find the sort of 11/16 just piece of trim by itself to just sort of fill in this gap to let it slide a little easier without going full slanted, and that's exactly the size I needed. This is actually a piece of side molding for a garage that comes with the gasket on the side of it. But it's the only piece I could find, or vinyl I should say, but I just cut off the piece of rubber and used that, and it worked perfect. I almost left the Home Depot because I said I can't find a simple 11/16 piece, so I was gonna rip a piece of that cheap plywood, but I would have had to rip a whole brand new piece that I want to return. And that, my friends, is how you work on the fly. Just use your imagination. So now it slides nice. Can't believe this thing fit on. I've done some weird stuff. And again, this is where art meets construction, or construction meets art, or building meets art, or art meets building. You just gotta work it out. This is why I say, y'all, art is in every piece of life. And sometimes you just gotta get creative. Whether it's drawing, whether it's painting, whether it's fixing something in your car, or building a shed. I used some leftover wood to build this yesterday. I'm just painting it. You know what? I thought, I have all this wood sitting around, so I think I'm gonna make this into, I'm gonna use this as a composting bin for my house. Pretty cool, right? Just used a bunch of scrap, a bunch of leftover siding, this nice little piece for the handle, got some hinges on there, and yeah, look at that. All out of some leftover wood. The rest I just circular sawed up and threw it in the trash, so I don't have to go to the dump. I have a few more pieces left. That's okay. Look at this guy, though. I'll put some screens on here for the vents, and I'm not going to put a bottom on it because I want it to be on actual soil. And then, yeah, this will have to be a cool compost pit. We don't actually have a compost bin in our house. Never started one, and now I don't have to buy one. Just use the scrap that I didn't pay for. Pretty sweet. And mostly cleaned up. Some things to cut up here. Boy, it was a lot of fun, actually. Kind of sad because now I'm back to just doing little things here and there around this house, and then all my other work I do at home, which is mostly art and creative stuff, and you know, play some video games or whatever. But then I'll have to get all the, obviously here in Texas, all the grass is starting to come back. I was so happy not to have to deal with this. Last year I took care of all these trees, cleaned out this driveway. Oh, those guys are building a pool over there. But look at this. I'm gonna have to start mowing again and weed eating all the way up there, and then all the way back there in the backyard into the cottage. And so that's I'm gonna get into. I'll probably edit this part out. Let me show you some other stuff I'll have to do over here. If this thing's still on, I can't tell. So yeah, usually I'll have to come up here and take care of this whole yard, mow it, weed eat it. Last year, this garden was literally, you couldn't even see in here, literally at all. All the beds were pushing up against this. You couldn't even get in here. It was completely, I'm telling you, corner to corner, packed. So I had to come in here and literally start little by little. Cleared all this. Oh no, not weeds already. Yeah, punks. Cleared all these out, covered them up. They wanted to leave the berry vines and the that's asparagus over there that I already cut down twice. But yeah, that was a hassle. Then I got this platform built. That's for astronomy. Put the telescopes on nice and level, and they can look out. You know, And that's the little cottage over there. I work around all that, and then the back driveway back there. And now I have to fix this thing. Maybe my next project. I don't know. Yeah, so that's it. Anyway, just to give you an idea of all the stuff I do around here, including replacing all the indoor switches to rocker switches, which I'm almost done with. I got 2 more left, but then I started the shed, so no, I have 4 more left actually. Had to wait for the 3-way switches to get in. I'm gonna save this, and yeah, that's about it. Sorry to bore you, but that's what I do. Anyway, y'all, peace and much respect, and keep it positive, and I'll do the same. Later.